How you doing, buddy?
What's good, brother? How you feeling?
Good, man. What do you got tonight?
Yo, it's funny you brought this up, man. I honestly believe, and I just kind of reflected on my own life and stuff. The early stages when I was doing the craziness. You know what I mean? Doing your thing, getting your game up, and all that. And I was watching Andrew Tate when he was out. You know what I mean? Of course, free Andrew and Tristan, but and then keeping my eye on Myron and Fresh. The one thing I noticed, okay, they all have women in the background adding value. And then I thought about you. I'm like, well, Rich mentions he has a woman and she takes care of little things, the cooking and all this other kind of stuff. I'm like, so I would ask you this. I believe this, and I want to know what you think. I believe that women want to find the guy that they can add value to, the man that they can follow, the man that they can love, honor, and respect, and will have no problem doing these things. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Like, what do you think about that?
Yeah, that's interesting. Women are fascinating, aren't they?
Yes, they are.
So do women want to find a guy and compliment his life? Is that their life mission today? I don't think so.
Not really. But is it part of the heart? Like, is this something that's ingrained in them when they find the right dude? And not to put your information out there, but I would wager that you don't have to ask or never had to ask your woman, any woman in your life, once you built yourself up to where you want to be, to do little things like, maybe dust up or take the dishes out the dishwasher, or you know what I mean?
Hey, look, man, you want to keep it real. It's still a job in a long-term relationship to keep a woman in line. You still have to look, women get lazy in a long-term relationship if you let them, if they show up and they're like, they're taking care of your laundry, they make your bed, they're cooking you dinner. When they're done cooking the dinner, they take care of the dishes and they put them away, sort of things like that. Women will get lazy over time, and you'll have to put your foot down and say, look, what got you in the door? I need to see you keep doing those things now that you're in the door. You don't get to get lazy or lighten up on stuff like that. I don't know many guys that can just, kick their feet up and she's always going to compliment his life exactly all the time. You're still going to have to remind them. Like, the thing with women is they have to, how can I put this? I mean, I'll just say it. They have to know that they're replaceable, and they have to have some anxiety in a relationship around that. They can't be in comfort all the time. There has to be a little bit of discomfort, if you know what I'm saying. So, these women that you're saying, you're talking about Tate or Fresh or whatever. Look, I don't know about those guys' personal lives. I mean, I've talked to Andrew a lot, publicly and privately. We were on WhatsApp and shit. It's a shame that they're doing to him, what they're doing right now. But you don't know what went on in his relationships with women. I am very certain, one of the things that he made clear is that he's got women and he's got children with women, not a woman, but women. I am fairly certain from the conversations that I've had with many men that have multiple women in their lives or have children with multiple women in their lives, that it's not all fun and games and rainbows and butterflies. There's infighting, there's jealousy. You have to put them up in separate houses. If you buy one a Mercedes, you got to buy the other one a Mercedes, and it's got to be the same trim, because if that Mercedes is white and hers is silver and it's a lower trim, she gets pissed off, right? So there's always game that's involved with women on a long-term basis. I don't think anybody's got it perfect, no matter how they want to purport that their life is perfect and it's excellent. I'll tell you straight up, man, I still have to set boundaries, and I still have to deal with bullshit from time to time. It's not all the time. It's like 85% great. But when it's not great, you're like, it takes the wind out of your sails. You know what I mean? Like, you got to deal with shit from time to time. So I didn't want to give the idea that it's utopia, is perfect, is done. No.
Yeah. I just noticed that I just used the men that I named here because this space will instantly understand who they are. They get the status part. But even like coming up in the streets, the guys who we called the plugs or whatever, they had a lot of women. Maybe, I'm thinking about it now. I guess those women were competing to get to the top ranking. And they were, like you said, they were doing all this stuff to get in the door. And then of course it slacks off once they feel, because women love to feel. They feel they've made it. Oh, I'm the number one now. So I can kick my feet up and I don't have to do these things anymore. I didn't think that part through. That's a good point.
Well, they say, see, so I'm going to break the internet right now. I mean, like, I know that we don't have 20,000 people watching, but I'm going to say something that I think is very profound. They say that once a woman sees you as her hypergamous best option, then that's it. She'll always behave. She'll be on her best behavior. Other guys are invisible, blah, 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 and all that sort of stuff. And I think there's some element of truth to some of that in there somewhere. But I don't think, based on my experience, and I've dealt with thousands of guys, whether it's people calling in on shows like this, or it's a private consult one-on-one, or it's at a conference and I'm talking to people privately. I mean, I've talked to thousands of guys, and guys, even with the best game, with the best life, they're with, a chick that sees them as their hypergamous best option. Women will still have contempt from time to time. You can't make a woman happy. You could stand-up comics have been doing this for years.
Not completely happy. You just
stand-up comics have been saying this for years. You could be the richest guy, the tallest guy, the best looking guy. You could have a diamond dick that's 10 inches long. Fireworks could shoot at her ass, when you have like the best of everything. You could have the best cars. Why is it the guys like Tom Brady get divorced? Why is it that,
Will Smith
fabulous actors end up with disastrous women, and they take all of their shit, or they're running through court? What happened to Johnny Depp in the last couple of years with Amber Heard, right? Yeah. Elon Musk has been through how many divorces with women, right? Like,
Russell Wilson's going through it with the 3 or 4 that he married.
It doesn't matter how top shelf of a guy that you are. Even if you are her hypergamous best option, she will still find something to have contempt with, right? So maybe other guys will be invisible for the most part, but I still think that women are, in this stage in history, I don't know if it was different 100 or 200 years ago with the absence of social media and the absence of, everybody putting them on the pedestal so easily, and unlimited validation and attention. They don't need no man, and they can work, and they can have their own house and all sort of stuff. I don't know if that would have changed much, but in this point in time in history, I don't think that you can make a woman happy.
Bro, I mean, so okay,
as,
and just
perfect as you are, you will never make a woman happy. You will never perfectly.
And I don't have any pushback for that. Again, I was just having that thought. I'm like, because I've seen women do these things. But you're right. There's going to come a point where you're going to have to put your foot down as the man. That's like being masculine. You're going to have to, like you said, hey, you got to keep doing this or you're gone, which really keeps the women afraid. Like, oh, I don't want to get, I can see that as well. So I say this to all people that I talk to all the time. And real quick, thank you so much for telling me about the Mano Swamp, bro. You never lied. Now I'm a few more months into it. Jesus, bro. These trenches ain't no joke. I asked for it. This is what I get. I'm stuck in the Mano Swamp. But I never tell people it's easy. Relationships are hard. Business relationships are hard. But, when you living with this woman, if she's not bringing you peace and you're not willing to let her go, like like you said, we've all been there. I know I've been crushed. I've fallen for the wrong woman, and I'm still paying for it. It is what it is. And I knew better. So I tell people that too. But I have seen women work for it. And real quick, the answer to your question earlier, man, I think it was the mid-'80s. It was the mid-'80s in the U.S. when government assistance came out, that's when we had the welfare and all that, kicking the man out the house, child support, all that. I think the mid-'80s is when that was the beginning of the today's woman here in America, at least. I don't know about the rest of the world.
Isn't all of that in the mid-'80s, though, a product of what came from the 1920 19th Amendment change, though?
I think you can argue that. I mean, you can kind of draw the lines to it. I mean, once women got the right to vote, I think you can argue it.
I'm not saying that women should or shouldn't have the right to vote. What I'm saying is you should be able to vote if you have skin in the game, if you pay into the tax system, if you have land, if you pay property taxes.
You can get drafted in this country.
If you can get drafted, you should be able to vote. If you can pay taxes, if you're a net positive contributor, that's what I'm saying, right? So if a chick can do that, good, do it. I'm not trying to exclude anybody from this. What I'm saying is, though, if you're going to decide what happens with my money that I pay taxes, you best be paying taxes too.
Hey, look, as an African American man, I'm looking at what San Francisco's proposing. I don't know if you saw anything on this with their reparations. They want to give every African American who can prove they were a descendant of slaves in San Francisco, California. Mind y'all, no slavery out there, right? Doing back in the day, they wasn't part of that. any African American who can today who can prove that they're a descendant of slave, they're proposing $5 million, and I think it's $95,000 a year, and I think that's for, I want to say, 50 years, maybe 100 years or something like that. I didn't, please don't quote me on that, y'all. But the $5 million part, yeah. I'm like, I need to move back to California if y'all talking about doing that. Because I can definitely prove I'm descendants of slaves. Doesn't work.
Whatever.
Doesn't work. But it's like, hey, if y'all gonna throw the money out there, I look at that as the same thing as I look at this bank bailout, bro. Oh, you just gonna throw, if you're gonna give almost $800 billion to First Republic Bank, you go ahead and throw me $5 million.
When you look at the way the system work and the tax system work, and the financial policies, the monetary like the thing that grinds my gears, I've been saying this for a few months now, is why do we pay taxes if they could just print unlimited money, right? The difference between us here today and, let's use those slaves that are talking about, from ancestors from San Francisco. The difference between us and those guys is they looked down at their ankles every day and they saw the shackles. They knew that they were slaves. Most people today don't know that they're shackled, that they're slaves. You've got some maneuverability. You've got a little bit more maneuverability, but you're still a slave.
And, that's the funny part too, because there were no slaves in the 1800s in California. That's where the slaves went to get freedom. Like they went to Canada. If you can make it to California, you were good too. So to me, it just blows my mind. Like, how is San Francisco offering reparations to people that they didn't even enslave? I mean, you think you would do better by offering that to people of Chinese descent, because they were the ones,
This is what happens. This is what happens when you give people a vote that don't pay in the tax system, that don't contribute, that are net takers. And these are the policies that they just make up.
You're right, man. And again, this is coming from a guy who, my grandmother's grandmother died a slave. I can prove it. So, but unfortunately, I don't live in San Francisco, because they're gonna give out $5 million. I ain't gonna lie to you, I'm gonna get in that line. But I think it's absolutely wrong. I want to
see how that shit unfolds, man.
It's gonna die. It's not gonna go anywhere, bro. That's not gonna go anywhere.
What about the slaves from, like, the Roman Empire that were forced to fight lions in the Colosseum? Like, when's the reparation coming from those times too?
I guess we got what's going on.
Like, how far do we go with this craziness shit, man? It's just it's never ending.
It's never ending. And it's you know what? I'll say this and get out of here, because I know you got more people waiting. But the thing is this: in America, at least, I don't know what's going on in Canada and the rest of the world, but Americans don't know how to critically think anymore. It's like you said,
people don't know how to critically think. People don't know. It's not
just worldwide.
It's people. It's worldwide. People are sheep.
People are sheep.
People are sheep. Humans are sheep.
So if you would make this type of proposal,
it's one of the reasons why we're so successful as a species too, by the way, because of gossip. Because if somebody says something, everybody follows it, and it just sort of builds on it.
I mean, Silicon Valley Bank, those people did some really stupid stuff, right? But the run on that bank was so incredible because that rumor got out so fast, and technology is where it is today. But Americans, well, people don't think anymore. Everyone wants something, and it just doesn't make any sense. You can't do that. You can't. Okay, we're going to give all African Americans who are descendants of slaves money. All right. And if you start trying to prove it, like, all you have to do is show us via DNA that, you were descendants from slaves. Well, Thomas Jefferson had a lot of slaves and he made a lot of babies with them. So you got all these white folks who are going to come out and be like, look, I'm descended from slaves. Give me my money. It could be some Rockefellers out there, some Kennedys out there. Look, we're descended from slaves. Give us some money.
Is this a law that's passed? Like, is this legislation that's gone through?
This is something on the books
to hand out money.
They're trying to push it through. It's a proposal in San Francisco that they were really trying hard to push it through. I don't think it's going to go anywhere. It would be foolish. Again, California, you know what I mean? But just check it out. You can't miss it. It's on there. It's last thing, man. You got any hats? What's up with your merch, bro? I got the book. I mean, I would love to grab a hat or something.
I don't have hats. I just have mugs and a few t-shirts and a bunch of other stuff.
Well, I'm
I
gonna have
don't
to
even
grab
wear
some
the
t-shirts.
t-shirts anymore because I'm going all styling and profiling now, man. I got the
I see that, bro.
tailored shirts. So
I see that, man. That looks. I ain't gonna lie
yeah.
to you, bro. That looks nice. I remember when you first put one on, I was like, the collar looks a little flimsy, but that one right there, that's proper right there. That's something I
No,
like.
this is an Italian cut, right? You got to get them done right.
Gotta get them done right. Hey, thanks for having me on, bro. I really appreciate it. Keep
All right,
doing
man.
what you're doing, bro. Peace.
See you later. I really hope you guys enjoyed that clip. If you want to watch the full-length podcast, you can find that over here, that clip's from. If you're newer to the channel, make sure you hit subscribe over here. And pin down below in the top comment, you'll find a bunch of useful links to my website, my supplement line, books, and a bunch of other stuff. Have an amazing day. Peace out.